Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video, in which I'll show you 3 different letter folding styles. Letter folding is a beautiful artistic practice that can be used to show an extra measure of care and attention on behalf of the sender. First we'll do the regency fold, which is that square one, then the diamond fold, and finally the heart fold. I hope you'll follow along and enjoy. First up, we have the regency fold. You may recognize it because it's a fun period detail that many Jane Austen film and television adaptations include, since it was a popular fold from that time period. For this fold, we're starting with a pre-fold, which is what the letter writer would have folded the paper to look like before writing their missive. So you fold the paper in half like this, and then you can write on this and then this side. Now let's move on to the post-folding, which is the pattern the letter writer would have used after writing their letter and before putting it in the mail. To do the post-fold, bring the outer edges of the page to meet in the middle. Try and make this as even as possible and crease your folds nice and tight. Then, bring the bottom edge of the paper a little bit more than halfway up, like so. Again, make sure these creases are really smooth. Now what you're going to do is turn the paper around and fold the smaller half back up over the first fold, like so. Now you see this little pocket we've created with our folding? We're going to tuck the top flap into that pocket. It can be a little tough to get right at first, but just be patient. When you get it tucked in there nice and snug, the entire fold becomes a self-contained packet, and that's the regency fold. Now, if I were really a Jane Austen character, I would include a wax seal over this flap to make sure it's extra secure, and then I would write the name of the recipient of the letter on this side. But even without those fun details, this is still a great and easy fold that would be self-contained and could be sent in the mail without an additional envelope. Now let's do the diamond fold. This is actually the fold that first got me interested in letter folding as an act of demonstrable care, seen here in an archived letter sent by the writer Mary Shelley to her beloved childhood friend Isabella Booth. What's curious about the diamond fold is that the pre-folding of the letter is actually the first step of the post-folding as well. So like the regency letter, you fold the page in half, this time making sure you crease tight, and you can write on these sides. Mary Shelley wrote on all 4 sides. Next, you bring the upper and lower left-hand corners inwards to meet in the middle of the page. I like to bring both sides in at once to make sure they're even before I do the final fold. Once I'm sure they're even, I reinforce the crease. This way I can make sure the final letter fold is as even as possible. Next is where we're going to cheat a little bit. The paper size Mary Shelley used wouldn't have made the step necessary, but if you're trying to do this fold today with a standard piece of printer paper, this is an easy fix. So just trim the outer edge of the paper so all that's left is the 2 original triangle folds, like so. Once you've trimmed the edge, bring the upper and lower right-hand corners back across the first triangle fold like this. So first you do the top, folding your creases tight, and now let's do the bottom. Again, make sure everything is as even and symmetrical as possible, so that when you're done, it forms a square, or better yet, a diamond. Now, you see this little pocket we've created here? Much like the regency fold, we're going to use that to secure our letter. Bring the top point of the upper triangle inside that bottom pocket, like this. If all your edges all along have been clean and all your folds even, it should make this perfect triangle shape, nice and self-contained, with a space to write the addressee's name on the front. And there you have it. That's the diamond fold. What makes this a demonstrable act of care is that when the recipient of the letter, like Mary Shelley's friend Isabella Booth, opened it, the lines of the post-folding are visible. The intricacy and beauty of this design reinforces to the recipient of the letter that the letter is more than just what is written on the page. The entire thing becomes an act of care. Speaking of demonstrable care, our final fold today is the hard fold, which I know because it's the shape my grandmother uses to send letters to me, like this one here. It's our most complicated fold today, but it's also really fun, I promise. First, what we're going to do is bring the top right-hand corner of the page down to create a perfect right triangle. Unlike the regency and diamond folds, there is no pre-folding here, only post-folding. Next, you're going to bring that fold back up, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side to create another perfect right triangle. Make sure you press these creases really hard, as they'll become guidelines for later, more complicated parts of the fold. Next, we're going to bring the top edge of the paper down to create a fold across the midsection of the cross we've created, like so. To make the paper more pliable for the next part of the fold, we're going to do the same thing going in the other direction. Next, you're going to want to press that middle point down so that the paper bows out like this. Then you're going to bring the outer edges of that line in to meet one another so that the top of the page curves. And you're going to bring those midpoints down and bring the top flap across to create a triangle. This is probably the most complicated part of the fold, so I'll show you again how to do it. So you take those outer corners, you bring them in to meet in the middle, and then you fold it over and press down to create a triangle. Next, you're going to bring the bottom edge of the paper up to meet the bottom of the triangle. So you're just going to fold that little leftover flap in half. Okay? Next, you're going to bring the outer edges of the triangle we created up to meet the top of the point, like so. You're going to create two perfect triangles that meet up at the top, like this. So you're just going to bring those up so they meet in the middle. Next, you're going to bring the outer edge of each side into the middle, like so. Make sure the inner edge of this fold lines up with the top of the point. So everything is meeting in the middle. You see? It creates one solid line from the top point of the triangle to the bottom of the page. Next, we're going to flip this whole shape over. So instead of having the side up with all the loose folds, you're going to have a flat surface with the point at the bottom. Next, you're going to fold the top part of that bottom point up, like so. Crease it hard, and you should have two triangular flaps at the top. And this bottom part should look like a traditional envelope. So you have your flaps, and you have the point of the envelope. Turn it back around like so. Next, you're going to bring the bottom edges of this little envelope shape we've created up to meet in the middle. It should overlap with the point of the envelope, just like this. Make sure it creates a line that aligns with the top flaps above. Those are good guidelines to follow to make sure that the fold stays really even. Do the same on the other side. Again, there should be a straight line running down the center of the fold. All right, on either sides of the envelope flap, there is a little pocket, and you can just tuck the folds you just made into that flap so it stays nice and secure, just like that. Now you're going to turn the page, make sure everything's aligned, and here's the final step. You know those top triangle flaps? We're going to fold them down, but not straight down like that. Instead, we're going to fold them so that the outer edge aligns with the outer edge of the larger fold, like this. They should be parallel. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Everything's parallel, everything's even. Now, to finish the fold, just tuck the points of what you just folded in behind the flap of the envelope. And you're done. This is the heart fold. Even though it's complicated, it's a fun fold to do. And like the diamond fold, one of the most exciting parts is the beautiful pattern left by the post-folding when the recipient opens the letter. See that? The intricate design becomes a demonstrable act of care, so the recipient both enjoys the message and the design they get to see. And that's our last fold today. Thank you for watching.